were saying, "Oh, so everything you're doing is illegal."
Yeah.
And we're like, completely not.
Every partner we work with are regulated in their own right.
From my perspective, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're simply building upon what we're good at.
I think a lot of people are scared to make that jump. But it's strange, like when you do that, when you go for the risk or whatever, your subconscious just takes over. Like you can just do it.
UAE has been a lot quicker to the mark because of their tax system to quickly accept cryptocurrency as a form of payment. The traditional banks, they cannot keep up with some of these neobanks.
Is crypto gambling?
I suppose it depends what side of the bed you wake up on.
That would be a yes then.
I believe the smaller coins are a true gamble.
Hello and welcome back to BetTalks. I'm Rick Godds and we're joined by two guests. They are crypto enthusiasts, banking and payment specialists, fitness fanatics and entrepreneurs, the Candy brothers, James and Danny. Welcome to BetTalks. How are you doing?
Very good, thank you. Yeah, very
brilliant. Good. Thanks for coming along. Great to have you on the show. I know you're newbies to Dubai. How are you finding it?
It's been a whirlwind, I suppose. It's lived up to expectation. It's been more than what we expected. I mean, it's been intense, been full on.
Yeah. I
suppose we was itching to get out here for months before we did make the move, and when we landed, it's almost we haven't had a time to think. It's already been 3 months, and it's gone so fast.
Absolutely. And obviously, I've seen your journey sort of move from that transition from London to the UAE. How are you finding it? You've brought all the families over here. It's a big change for you, yes?
Yeah, absolutely. So, especially for myself, I've brought my girlfriend and 2 children over. So it's sort of been pretty tough to manage. But good fun, amazing weekends. As James said, we have our heads down hard, sort of Monday to Friday. 12 to 14 hour days, just sat in the lobby where we live and working hard. But weekends are absolutely amazing.
Fantastic stuff.
You know, with the kids, go to the beach, that type of thing. So it's lovely, really good.
Nice.
I suppose Dubai doesn't stop. I mean, me and Danny were so used to in London having the Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 sort of lifestyle, but when you're in Dubai, people are calling you at Sunday, 10 p.m, do you want a coffee?
Yeah.
And us trying to explain to our girlfriends and our missus, this is normal. It's a little bit of a transition.
There's no days off here.
There's no days off here.
No, of course. So, obviously, CandyPay has emerged. Tell me more about CandyPay before we get started, because the main topic, obviously, for you coming to Dubai was to grow this new up-and-coming startup. So tell me more about it.
Perfect. So it was myself and Danny. CandyPay speaks for itself where we got the name from. But effectively, in a nutshell, we're a banking consultancy. I've been into banking and payments for the past 5-6 years, and CandyPay is a business which helps high net worths, individuals and corporates fast track and find solutions that they wouldn't otherwise be able to find themselves. So we effectively make clients with banks all around the world to help solve their pain points when it comes to opening accounts and tracking cross-border remittance.
Wow. Okay. And you've moved, obviously, you've been here in Dubai for the last 3 months. How are you finding the transition from doing business in the UK to doing business in Dubai?
So for me, I think when you're outside of the UAE, you're always led to believe that it's this fast-paced life. And don't get me wrong, you know, that is there if you want it. But in terms of business, it's actually very different.
Yeah.
In actual fact, what I've found is that people are much more interested in relationships.
Yeah.
So it's all about getting to know you. I think there's a lot of people that come to Dubai and sort of, I wouldn't say want to scam people, but they're here to make a quick buck and off they go.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of the people that have been here for a long time, they've seen these individuals come and go.
Correct.
So they like to just sit down with you, understand you. I think the fact that we've got the sort of family business speaks volumes.
Yeah.
I think that sort of James bringing me into CandyPay and this whole banking world is really sort of powerful when you're speaking to clients, because they think, well, James wouldn't have brought his brother in if there was something dodgy going on, or you know. So it's a case that for me, it's frustrating sometimes because I'm used to that fast-paced sales life.
Yeah.
I was a financial advisor in the UK, and it was a bit of a conveyor belt in terms of, you know, you're always looking at targets and getting those sales in. Whereas here, it's actually a case of you could sit down with someone 3, 4, 5 times, just getting to know them, have a coffee, have a meal, and then eventually business will come. You know, so it's just a little bit different to what I'm used to.
And I suppose what I was used to, so I've been coming to Dubai for the past 4 years, on and off for conferences. And coming here for 2 weeks or 1 week or 5 days at a time for a conference is very, very different to living here. And in my head, I think I created this idea that would be constantly as fast paced as how I'd experience the conferences to be. So coming in, conferences all day, networking in the evening, and rinse and repeat. But getting here, quite like Danny said, it's sort of a bit of a reality check, because as much as it's fast paced, things do take time. Relationships are key here, and it's given me more incentive to just keep going and keep building CandyPay.
Fantastic. I think it's a great answer what you did say though. So what would a typical client be for CandyPay, let's say? What would you be looking for? I know obviously you guys are doing a lot of conference-based work, a lot of travel, but what would a typical client be that you'd be looking for?
Good question. So I suppose at the infancy, our business is very targeted towards businesses that struggle, and not by choice. That does tend to fit in the medium to high risk space, generally speaking, because these businesses are the ones that have these issues when it comes to banking. They might be tarnished with the same brush of having difficulties opening accounts. But I suppose where our transition is any business can be a client of ours. There's not sort of a one size fits all. Where we broaden ourselves into various different industries, our product is truly geared up to support any kind of individual or corporate business. But it just so happens that most of these businesses tend to fall in medium to high risk industries.
When you say medium to high risk, I'm guessing you're talking around the crypto, gaming, FX markets, which is main focus for CandyPay, correct?
Yeah.
These industries do fall under the bracket of Dubai heavily. Now let's touch the fact on the crypto space. You deal with a lot of crypto brands. What would your ideal crypto client be, and how would CandyPay what services would they offer within the crypto space?
Sure, good question. So I suppose we could probably break this down. So crypto is a very broad sort of topic. There's not sort of in terms of who we service, it could be an individual that holds cryptocurrency and they're struggling to purchase a property, and they have funds that have accumulated and build up over crypto. But then we could be dealing with a tier 1 exchange who gets tarnished with the same brush as a smaller exchange because of new regulations. So I suppose when it comes to crypto, we could be dealing with all different kinds of businesses, individuals needing our services. So it does vary.
Okay. So Dubai now is becoming this tech hub. All right, you've been here now building this startup brand. I know you've obviously already got background within the banking and payment sector, but this startup, how are you finding yourself transitioning into Dubai, crypto related, and where do you see things sort of within the next 5 years?
So I think in terms of us, the transition, it's been fine. There's so many businesses out here that they're based here, but their operations might be outside of the UAE.
Yeah.
So it's been quite nice for us because you'll get maybe CEOs, founders, etc., that have based themselves in Dubai. However, from a banking perspective, to make our lives a bit easier, they're actually running operations outside of the UAE.
Yeah.
I think with VARA, being a big topic, I think it's already made things a lot harder I was speaking to someone recently and they were explaining to me, 3 years ago, for 10,000 dirhams, you could go and set up a crypto business and off you went. And now it's like 10 times that. The compliance, Dubai seem to be really wanting to make it. I think they're very open to it, but they're also aware of there are a lot of scams in crypto.
100%.
There's a lot of cowboys out there, so they're looking to make it very regulated, make sure that all the investors, etc., are nice and safe. And I think we're sort of speaking to a lot of businesses at the moment that are actually in the VARA process. They haven't obtained the license yet. One of the sort of reasons why they haven't got it yet is sometimes that it's strange, but you have to have a bank account before you can actually get the license, and they're a bit in sort of chicken and egg situation, and then that's where we come in and help them out.
Fantastic. Now, I mean, I've been around the crypto space since sort of 2017, 2018. So technically, I'm a bit of an OG, right? I can't say it's been as successful as it should have been, but anyway, that's another story. So there has been so much change within the crypto sphere, which is what you focus on for banking and payments. Now, it started off from sort of ICOs to then NFTs, and now we've got these meme tokens. I mean, what's your thoughts on, let's say, dog with hat? I mean, is this serious or what?
I mean, it with us dealing with regulated banks, it's hard sometimes to justify the source of wealth being some crazy meme coin.
Yeah.
Imagine us trying to explain to a compliance team what dog with hat and I've made 10x on my money in that.
Correct.
People are going to tarnish it straight with all of the red flags.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so there is found. This is when obviously with cryptocurrency, there is a lot of foundation which looks promising, but then there is a lot of grey areas still. And like you say, to justify these kind of tokens to the banking world, how does that replicate with traditional banking?
Yeah, I mean, like we can't frown away from the fact that these meme coins are making significant amount of money for individuals. They're changing people's lives overnight, but bringing that back to sort of the regulatory standpoint, it's very hard for UK, European compliance teams to get their head around that. And I think that's probably why Dubai's been so advanced with welcoming it, because I suppose regular investments and sort of low risk investments, trying to explain them to some individuals in the UK and Europe is challenging, let alone trying to sell them some kind of crazy meme coin.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, Dubai obviously is a lot more acceptance to individuals as well. You explained before that you found yourself being a lot more accepted here with your age.
Yeah.
And people taking you a lot more serious. Do you want to elaborate sort of more on that?
Yeah, I suppose being a young entrepreneur, sort of the stereotypical conversation that I'm always having, I'm still having it now, is you're young, how do you know this? Can I speak to your manager? Can I speak to the owner of the business? And that's a battle that I've had to deal with as being a young entrepreneur. But I suppose when I started first coming to Dubai, I soon realised that just wasn't the case in the UAE. Everybody has the opportunity, and as long as your product is right and what you're offering serves a purpose, there's a room for you to grow. And I mean, growing up in the UK, building out my career in the UK and Europe, you just almost have to earn your stripes. And it's like this same old conversation that keeps coming back and coming back. But I'm very grateful to the fact that I was able to come to UAE and it enabled me to grow as quick as I had. But it's still a reoccurring issue that comes back.
We I've not heard it so much here, but for example, we went to a conference, Sigma conference in Malta, sat down with someone straight away, you're very young. And it was James was asking the question and they were answering me. It's sort of they didn't have that, but out here, no, it's very you're very right there in terms of if you've got a product that works, they trust you, they like you. Age means absolutely nothing.
Well, of course, you have 22, 23-year-old multi-millionaire crypto entrepreneurs, well, early investors that are flying around and living in multi-million-dollar mansions and supercars. So it's, do you know what I mean? It's like I say, it's completely different to old school London mentality of where our families are referred from our families or passed down wealth. And this is an emerging city. It's an emerging, growing city, vibrant city where it caters for young entrepreneurs to be accepted, which is great in your obviously.
And I suppose with the correlation between it being such a fast-paced, upcoming, emerging city, that's the same as crypto. I suppose crypto, fintech, neo-banking is completely going in the same direction. So for me to sit there in the UK and listen to someone earn your stripes, build your way up and do it our way, it's very hard to take them seriously when neo-banking and crypto is such a fast-paced emerging industry.
You missed the boat.
You missed the boat.
Of course. So you just mentioned on a few industries there, you just mentioned about crypto, fintech. I mean, you got the likes of Metaverse. AI is another topic which is obviously rapidly expanding, especially in the UAE. I think in the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to start seeing flying cars and robots around Dubai. I mean, China's already talking about putting 100,000 flying cars, drones within the next decade. So there's a lot of crazy things that's being spoke about and that's in the media. Now, one other industry which is extremely exciting is the online gaming, online gambling industry. With here at BetTalks, it's a big topic that we do discuss, online gaming, gambling, soon to be regulated within the UAE come 2027. Now, what's your thoughts on gaming coming to the UAE, Danny?
Very exciting. I think, again, I keep referring back to the UK and sort of from the outside looking into Dubai. Let's talk about alcohol, for example. If I spoke to my friends, they would say, oh, I'm not really fussed about going to Dubai. You can't do anything there. You can't drink. You can't do this. You can't do that. And it's only actually when you arrive, you understand that's absolutely not the case at all.
Yeah.
And I think in terms of sort of the locals here and how they accept alcohol and that type of thing, I think the way that Dubai do things is that you have a lot of things going on that have, I wouldn't say under the radar, but they're going on and it doesn't need to be in their face.
Correct.
It doesn't need to be in the locals' face, you know, disrespectful, things like that. And I believe that the gambling scene can go that way. So I believe that it can happen, it can be going on just nicely, and it won't actually disrupt things here too much. And, you know, I think just be disrespectful to the country that we're in.
Yeah.
I think in terms of if we just talk money, you know, for Dubai, it would be absolutely incredible if we could not just start with one license, but, you know, keep going and grow this as much as possible, because ultimately it's just going to mean a better city for everyone.
Of course,
you know, the more money, the more people joining.
When you talk about regulation and licensing, now the Win has just been granted a casino gaming license in Ras Al Khaimah for the first land-based casino. Ras Al Khaimah is obviously part of the Emirates. My theory is that they are growing their Emirates. They're wanting to push out the likes of Ras Al Khaimah, Fujairah, Sharjah, because let's face the facts. Dubai is already established. It's got everything. It's got all the infrastructure. It's got all the fancy hotels. It's got all the fancy buildings. The other Emirates are very, very... they're very, very mature. Dubai's very mature. They're very up and coming. And to bring in gaming, a casino within Ras Al Khaimah, well, that's just going to completely go through the roof. Property market is already flying up there as well. How would CandyPay be able to work with these gaming companies once they're regulated within the UAE? How could they work with them?
Yeah, sure. So I suppose we need to see how the land-based casinos go and how the UAE take that. I think obviously it's a main tourist attraction. I think they'll monitor it and see how it goes, see how it fits into their culture, and only then will they issue the online licenses. I suppose how we fit in. I mean, we work with operators, we work with affiliates, we work with online casinos all around the world. And I suppose where we want to see our roadmap is to be here on the ground for when these licenses become approved, so that we can allow our existing clients and our new customers to know that they have the comfort that we're already here, so we can help them have a smooth transition.
Yeah.
So I suppose for a lot of these companies, this will be a completely new market.
100%.
So having someone they know and they feel comfortable with handling their banking, handling their payments and assisting them with their licenses, that's where we're here to hold their hand to make it a smooth transition.
Great answer. Great answer. So gaming is just another industry that CandyPay can cater for. Crypto obviously is up and coming. I mean, it always makes me laugh when you see people and they sort of say, yeah, well, we're crypto experts. I don't think anyone's a crypto expert. I mean, how can you possibly be an expert in something that's, 10, 15 years old max?
Yeah.
So I don't think there is any particular crypto experts. One question I want to ask, and I ask this to everyone that comes here on BetTalks, is crypto gambling?
I suppose it depends what side of the bed you wake up on.
That would be a yes then.
Dan, do you want to give your opinion?
In my opinion, no, for the likes of Bitcoin. I think it's here to stay, in my opinion. I think, and I also believe it's a very good investment long term. So I don't believe it's gambling for sort of your bigger coins, but for sure the meme coins, something that has no real utility.
Yeah.
I don't understand it, if I'm honest. It's just community led, and it's got a funny name, a nice picture, whatever, and it's a bit of fun, I think. And if you can make some money whilst having a laugh, or if you're in a community and you're meeting like-minded people, that type of thing. But I believe the smaller coins are a true gamble.
100%.
And I think you also have to break people use crypto too broadly, too openly. As such, crypto's broken down into so many different subsections. So I suppose yes and no is my answer. Quite like Danny said, you've got the meme coins, you've got people who come on to trading platforms and they don't have any background knowledge. So if you're someone in that position, then it is gambling because you have no background, you have no understanding. It is a risk. But with the services that CandyPay offer, we're mostly servicing stable coins. We're mostly dealing in pegged dollar cryptocurrencies. So for us, that is a hedge bet. We're dealing with regulated financial institutions. We're dealing with blue chip companies who are using these currencies for what they should be.
Yeah.
So I suppose it depends which side of the crypto fence you're on. If you are trading day to day, I mean, that is a risk and that is gambling. But if you're an institution that is purely using it for remittance and cross-border payments, then no.
You just mentioned one thing then, that was stable tokens.
Yeah.
Now, that also comes under the bracket of USDT.
Yep.
Now, Tether have just hit higher volumes than Visa and MasterCard. I mean, it's absolutely outrageous. I mean, they have, I think they've got higher market cap than sort of Vanguard and BlackRock coming up to this end of this year. What's your thoughts on stable tokens? Is USDT here to stay?
So for me, yes. So just to, I haven't sort of explained yet, but I got into this in June.
Yeah.
James has been doing it for a very long time, and then I got involved, and just seeing how efficient USDT can be, it just blew my mind, to be honest. And you mentioned crypto to someone that doesn't really understand it, and immediately alarm bells go off. Oh, it's risky, it's this, it's that. And James mentioned a moment ago there, it's unfortunately for USDT, it is crypto.
Yeah.
And there's so many different variations of that speaking to just your general person, you mentioned USDT and immediately gosh, am I going to lose my money and that type of thing.
Yeah.
But by using it for what I believe it should be used for, under a regulated umbrella, absolutely fantastic. You know, you can send money cross-border in seconds.
Yeah.
And fees are lower, etc. So for businesses, I think adopting USDT is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Obviously, it is becoming a lot more regulated now, especially in the UAE. They are using USDT as salary payments now. It's becoming a lot more globally used. A little bit more restrictive in Europe and the US. A lot more restrictive, to be honest, than it is within the UAE. So,
just to touch in on that, and in my opinion, I think this is heavily correlated to the tax system. I think UAE has been a lot quicker to the mark because of their tax system, them giving their citizens easier brackets to be able to quickly accept cryptocurrency as a form of payment. I think some of the UK, European and US markets, it's very hard to accommodate a currency that, well, creates an issue with your own system. Competition with your own system.
Yeah. So, I've heard a lot of your opinions, your thoughts on crypto, on gaming. Now, CandyPay obviously offers a lot of different services, okay? I have been around the conference space for nearly 10 years, so a decade, which is a long time, right? In gaming, crypto, there are a lot of different payment solutions out there. A lot, okay? How does CandyPay differ from the rest?
Yeah, good question. So I suppose, look, I, in my background, I've been doing this for a long time.
What is a long time?
Well, I suppose a long time compared to how old I am. So I've been doing this for just over 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
From my perspective, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. So by all means, we're not trying to come into the market and create an amazing new product. We're simply building upon what we're good at, and that's providing an excellent service to our clients, delivering on expectations and what they need, and developing in a market that's ever changing. So again, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're just trying to create strong relationships and organically grow.
Okay, fantastic. And you do work with several different sort of acquiring banks, and that's obviously growing as well.
Yeah, I suppose we have to diversify the banks that we use because not every client fits the risk appetite, fits the compliance of each of our customers. So at CandyPay, we have to diversify the banks that we work with so that we can tailor the solutions for each client personally. So by working with us, we do take a very hands-on approach with all of our customers. We don't work with everybody because our service is very personal. We have to really understand the clients. We have to understand the business model so we can matchmake them with the right bank.
Good answer. So, where do you see now? Obviously, you're established now. We're obviously entity here in the UAE. So, congratulations on that. Where do you see the vision? Where do you see the vision of CandyPay coming? Let's say in the next 10 years.
Well, there's a big roadmap, but we want to be your sort of one-stop shop, if you like.
Yeah.
But the way we envisage it is that clients will be able to log into CandyPay, and on that sort of interface, you'll see every aspect of your business, the accounts that you have, the various different payment methods that you need, etc. Because you have bank accounts, which is one area that we do, but then you have card processing, for example. And there is a lot of different legs to, let's say, a casino. The client deposits all the way out to paying staff. You know, there's a lot of different legs there. And for a company, we deal with a lot of businesses, and they have teams and teams of people dealing with just payments, banking, like, you know, a lot of individuals there, which means a lot of money for them to spend, etc., etc. And typically when we speak to these individuals, they don't really tend to have a great handle on what's going on. You know, the left arm doesn't speak to the right arm and that type of thing. So if we can create something where you log in and it's all there, You know,
yeah.
Everything he needs there. I think we're solving a big problem, and we speak about it a lot. But you know, we provide solutions to problems. That's what we do.
Yeah.
So we'll go into a business, find out, you know, what are your issues, and there might not be any, but they might need redundancy. They might need a backup plan just in case.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, and I suppose just adding to what Danny said, if we onboard a customer, I suppose the end goal is for them to know that if one of the banks decides one day that they aren't willing to work with, let's say, the gaming and gambling industry, whilst being a customer of ours, we can switch on another bank without them having to worry about finding a new solution, their operation stopping overnight, because we've already got that on our system. So suppose being ahead of the curve and anticipating the problems that will come so that we can solve them for our clients as and when they arise.
So when you talk about solving problems, now obviously these companies are medium to high risk entities that do obviously come under license entities, come under gaming, gambling, crypto, FX, which is obviously another big market. Now, we obviously, you guys at FX conference, IFX, big shout out to them. Where do you see the FX market different to sort of the crypto and gaming? I mean, because it's a huge market, and I know you deal with a lot of clients within the FX space.
Yeah, I suppose Forex companies, I suppose even Forex and casinos, they do get tarnished with the same brush when we're dealing with a bank from a banking perspective, compliance teams, and sometimes Forex companies, trading companies get hit harder than casinos. I suppose with some of the offshore licenses offering 5,000 leverage, people could even argue that's gambling.
Yeah.
So there needs to be some kind of monitor on, I suppose, what's right, what's wrong, who are the services offered to, because some of these trading companies are dealing with huge risks. So we need to police that, and we need to understand which banks are able to accommodate this business. And I suppose even in the Forex industry, we won't work with everybody just because of the level of risk that some of these businesses are operating under.
Fantastic.
I mean, even some of them that will come to us are completely unlicensed, you know.
Yeah.
And me and James take a view, you know, do we really want to work with those individuals?
So you do vet, obviously, you vet these clients before any acceptance of bank accounts,
That's quite a funny story, actually. Like, being in Dubai, and we're going to some conferences and things, and we tell people we do banking, we tell people do crypto, and then we get we were just having a conversation yesterday. People were saying, "Oh, so everything you're doing is illegal," and we're like, "Completely not."
Every partner we work with are regulated in their own right. And okay, so you take cash and it's all unregulated.
Okay.
Like, no, but I think. Forex is interesting. I mean, even on a bigger scale, a lot of our banks are heavily involved in Forex. Yeah. You know, they get euros in, they pay USD out, or, you know, so it's a big market.
So you've built these reputations up with these banking partners, and obviously you fit your clients into these sort of niche acquiring banks. Where do you see crypto taking over the traditional banking system?
Good question. I think it will be a long time till it completely does take over, because, I mean, if we're talking about sort of retail customers, then not all of the banks, not all the markets are even aware of what crypto is used for. So I think it will be a long time now until crypto is fully adopted within the neo-banking system. But I mean, you've got to look at people like Revolut. Revolut are way ahead of the game. Their ability to bring product to market in such a short time is quite an achievement. I mean, I suppose the traditional banks, they cannot keep up with some of these neo banks, fully because they they're so set in their ways. They haven't got the tech to be able to support this, and they haven't got the manpower to be able to monitor all of these new regulations. But these neobanks, they have the tech. They're powered. A lot of them are powered by AI, and they're using the correspondent banks to be able to push their business. So I think, just circling back to your question, it's going to be a long time before a lot of the traditional banks catch up. But with the adoption of neobanks, I think at some stage there won't be going to HSBC, going to Barclays for a bank account. It will be normal to find someone like Revolut to support your banking.
How would a banking structure work with the likes of BTC being at 100K one day and then the next day being at 80K? How do you bank that kind of that uncertainty?
Difficult question.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's really tough. I think it will take more entrepreneurs, more visionary individuals that can to figure this out, because I think it is needed. Traditional banks, even they are going online. I mean, if you walk into a bank now on the high street in London, for example, there's one member of staff behind the counter and two that show you how to use a machine. Yeah. And that old school, the bank manager, handshake, get you a loan or a mortgage and that type of thing. That's dead. That just simply doesn't exist anymore. I mean, in my opinion.
Well, it's becoming impossible to even get any bank account these days. So especially medium high risk is a definite no-go.
Well, and just on that point, just from a personal experience, I wanted to put some money into a crypto exchange and just simply wasn't allowed. I had a phone call from the bank. No, we don't support this. I said, well, but it's my money. And they said, but we're doing it to protect you. And I said, but how can you be protecting me when you've got my money sat in an account paying 0.01% and inflation's 5%? There's no protection there at all. I'm actually losing money, and I actually want to put it into a better position. They just make it really difficult.
So banks are completely against crypto, 100%, and
Absolutely.
Anything crypto related. There is no... crypto is still very volatile. It's very volatile. BTC has just hit 100K, all-time highs, which is great. Now everyone's saying it's going to hit 1 million, okay? But then that million could turn back into 100K a week later. So this scares people. If you've got your funds, you want to feel secure. You want to feel stable. Let's face the facts. Any form of crypto, unless it's a stable token, has absolutely no stability whatsoever. So I cannot see crypto taking over any banking anytime soon, until, like you say, this is actually anyone's changed that sort of putting some kind of cap on it or some kind of rate to freeze the value of what you're putting into a bank.
Yeah, I suppose Bitcoin will never be frozen because it's uncontrollable. It's
decentralized.
Yeah. I suppose where people are hedging their bets is they can take loans against Bitcoin. So again, that could be deemed gambling, but it does give you access to keep your positions, to have access to immediate cash, so that you can lock in a fixed rate.
Yeah. Okay, well, listen, one last question before we wrap things up, and it's been great having you on the show. What advice would you give to our viewers in the entrepreneurial lifestyle? You've come to Dubai, you've curated this lifestyle, which is living the dream. Started up your own company here, which is fantastic. Everyone looking in must be thinking, wow, these guys are really sort of hit the nail on the head and it's full steam ahead. What advice would you give to entrepreneurs out there that are coming into the sort of bank, that are in the banking world, that are wanting to sort of move forward?
I suppose if you have a goal, make it 10x higher. Don't listen to people that have negative opinions. I think, especially in the UK, everybody's quick to judge, everybody's quick to give their opinion, but nobody's very happy for you to succeed. And I'll say that quite honestly because I've had that experience. I've been in a position where I I've been successful, I've been doing well, but the people around me aren't happy for me. And it's taken me to lose that to then have the ability to go again and grow even further.
Wow.
So I suppose just don't listen to people's negative opinions and surround yourself with people that want you to win.
Absolutely. Good answer. Good answer. Danny?
I would say have big goals. Goals that scare you, goals that make you want to get up in the morning. You know, they get you out of bed. Put timelines on those goals. You know, if you have a goal and there's no particular time frame of when you want to achieve it by, then it's a bit wishy-washy.
Yep.
So I think goals are massive. Me and James, we speak a lot about manifesting. We really believe in it. You know, we're constantly thinking about our goals, picturing ourselves in certain environments that we want to be in the future. But I think take the risk. You know, I'll give myself as an example. You know, 37 years old, girlfriend, 2 children, and you know, me and James sat down one evening whilst we were working at a previous employer, and we just said, "Do you know what? Let's go for it." And within 10 minutes, James had bought our URL. You know, it was just simply just a thought.
Which is CandyPay.io, yes?
Yeah.
CandyPay.io.
And that thought turned into what we have today, which is a thriving business. And, you know, in such a short space of time, we're doing really well. And I think a lot of people are scared to make that jump. But it's strange. Like when you do that, when you go for the risk or whatever, your subconscious just takes over. Like you can just do it.
Yeah.
You know?
And I suppose just put yourself in uncomfortable positions that you have to come out on top.
Yeah. A very successful mentor of mine, and he's been a mentor of mine for several years. He always told me a good theory, and that was, instead of saying I want to do this, make it a must. I must do this. So not I want a Ferrari or I want a villa in Emirates Hills. I must have a Ferrari. I must have a villa in Emirates Hills. And it makes sense. When you change something to a must instead of a want, it's a completely different mindset, which is manifesting.
Yeah.
I like you say. So, gentlemen, it's been great having you on the show. To all of our viewers, check out CandyPay.io for all of everything we've discussed today, payments and banking solutions. James, Danny, thank you for coming along. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure.
And all the best for CandyPay in the future.
Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.